everyone, and welcome back to our channel where we talk about all things relating to anxiety and our mental well-being. And today we're talking about a topic that affects so many people, but it isn't talked about enough. It's phone anxiety, also known as telephobia or phone phobia. Now, have you ever felt your heart race when your phone rings? Or do you find yourself delaying making phone calls for as long as possible? Maybe you even avoid picking up the phone entirely, even when you know the call is important. If so, you're not alone. Phone phobia is actually more common than you might think, particularly among younger generations who grew up with smartphones and prefer texting over speaking. We are literally losing the skill of talking on the phone as texting and emailing have become the preferred method of communicating, and it's hard to understand exactly what the long-term impact of this will be. So in today's video, we will be covering what telephobia is and why it happens, the impact it has on everyday life with someone that's struggling, why phone anxiety feels so overwhelming, and we're going to look at some proven strategies to overcome it. So, by the end of this video, you'll have clear, actionable steps to help you feel more confident when making and receiving phone calls. But before we get started, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. This helps us create more helpful content and lets you stay up to date with our latest videos on managing anxiety and our mental well-being. Now, let's jump straight in. What is phone anxiety? Like I said, also called telephobia, phone phobia. Phone anxiety refers to the intense fear or discomfort associated with making or receiving telephone calls. Now, unlike general or social anxiety, which affects face-to-face interactions, telephobia is specifically linked to verbal communications over the phone. So you may still be quite happy to text, it's just talking. Now, this can manifest in many different ways. Some people feel a surge of panic when their phone rings. Others procrastinate or avoid making calls because they fear they're going to say the wrong thing. Some people even experience physical symptoms such as a racing heartbeat, sweaty palms, a shaky voice, shortness of breath, and brain fog, where you find it difficult to focus and keep concentrating. Now, if this sounds familiar to you, don't worry. You are not alone, and there are ways to work through it. But why do phone calls feel so much harder than other forms of communication? Let's break it down. So, there are several reasons why talking on the phone can trigger anxiety. Now, here are the most common, and some of them might surprise you. Number one is the fear of judgment. Many people worry about what others are going to think about them. They worry about saying the wrong thing. They worry about sounding unprofessional or awkward. And they worry about being judged for their voice, their tone, or their speaking style. Now, this fear often stems from perfectionism and social anxiety. We don't want to make a mistake. We don't want to make a fool of ourselves, to sound stupid or be misunderstood. But this fear is actually biological. Now, as humans, we evolved from tribal creatures, meaning acceptance by others was key to our survival. In the past, if we were rejected by our tribe, it could mean life or death to us. Now, today, this fear shows up as anxiety around being judged or criticised, especially in situations like phone calls, where our words matter and we don't have visual clues to help us communicate. It might be due to negative past experiences. Have you ever had one of those awkward or stressful phone conversations? Maybe somebody was rude to you, or you felt embarrassed by something that you said. Now, negative past experiences, especially those tied to criticism, rejection, or discomfort, can create lasting anxiety. Now, if a previous phone call went badly, your brain learns to associate phone calls with stress and discomfort, making you want to avoid them altogether. The third reason that we could have phone phobia is that we feel that we don't have control. Now, unlike text or email, phone calls require an immediate response. There's no time to carefully craft your words or think through what you want to say. This can feel especially overwhelming, and if you struggle with anxiety or overthink in social interactions, it makes it even worse. Now, when we text or email, we can edit what we want to say. We can take our time to respond. We can avoid unexpected questions. We have the ability to make sure that the response that we're giving is exactly what we want it to be. But with phone calls, there's no safety net, which can feel incredibly intimidating. It could be due to underlying anxiety disorders. So phone anxiety is often linked to social anxiety, the fear of interacting with others. It's linked to performance anxiety, so similar to stage fright or public speaking, which is the number one anxiety. And generalised anxiety disorder, excessive worry about daily activities. Now, for some, phone anxiety is part of a larger pattern of avoidance behaviour, where any form of direct social interaction just feels too overwhelming. So now that we understand why phone anxiety happens, let's talk about how it affects daily life. But before we do that, if you struggle with anxiety, you may wish to check out the free resources over in the description when you finish watching this video. Now, if you're not sure where to start, I suggest you download the Anxious Thoughts Diary or maybe the Circle of Control and Influence Diary, as both of these help you take back control of your situation and it offers light at the end of the tunnel. Also, if you're finding this helpful, please do go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel and hit that notification button so you're kept up to date with all our latest videos and the links to all our free resources. So let's jump back in and discover how phone anxiety may affect general life. So avoiding phone calls might seem like a minor issue, but over time, it can impact many areas of our life, including our work and career, missing job opportunities, avoiding client calls, or struggling in roles that require phone communication. It may impact on our health and our well-being, avoiding doctor's appointments or mental health support because booking requires a phone call. And it may have an impact on our personal relationships, struggling to keep in touch with family and friends, leading to feelings of isolation and loneliness. Now, I've even had clients tell me that they've lost their job because they refuse to take phone calls. This is why it's so important to address phone anxiety early before it starts interfering with opportunities and connections in your life. But here's the good news, you can overcome it. If phone calls make you anxious, try these proven strategies that I hope will help you. Now, the first one is gradual exposure therapy, and there's a link in the description all about a workbook for exposure therapy that you can download as well. Now, start small. If the thought of making a phone call is overwhelming, begin with calling a pre-recorded number. It could be your own voicemail number. Then leave voice notes for a trusted friend and build up, making short, low-pressured calls. So it might be that you're doing a takeaway food order. And keep expanding outside of your comfort zone. Keep expanding outside of your comfort zone, and then you'll get more confident in your behaviour. We can prepare in advance. Before making a call, write down key points or practice what you want to say. Having a simple script can help you feel more in control. You can use breathing techniques. Now, taking slow, deep breaths before and during a call, the controlled breathing helps reduce physical symptoms of anxiety, like a racing heart or a shaky voice. And when we're anxious, we often think that we can't take a breath in, but the reality is we actually haven't breathed out enough. So make sure you're breathing out slightly longer than you're breathing in. We can do role play and visualizations. Now, practice role playing with a trusted friend or family member to build confidence. You could even ask them to act out some challenging situations or conversations to help you to prepare. Now, if you have no one available to help you, visualize making the phone call yourself and imagine what questions may be asked. Now, your body doesn't know the difference between what's real and what is imagined. So visualizing the call going well before you pick up the phone gives you additional confidence that you can do this. Imagine a positive conversation and all the things that could go right rather than what could possibly go wrong. Remember, we get what we focus on. We can reframe negative thoughts. So instead of thinking, I'm going to mess up, remind yourself, you don't have to be perfect. You can pause and you can take your time. And most people are understanding and patient. Number 5, smile whilst we're talking. Now, this might sound too simple, but smiling helps to calm your nervous system and makes you sound more confident on the end of the phone. It sends a signal to your body that you are in a safe place. And lastly, seek professional support. If phone anxiety is interfering with your life, an anxiety therapist can provide personalised support to help you work through it. Now, before we continue, you may be wondering, who am I and how am I qualified to give you this advice? Well, my name is Jennifer Roblin and I am an anxiety specialist and therapist, and I've helped thousands of people learn the tools and strategies to manage anxiety and uncover the root cause that is unique to them. I am the founder of Better Your Life, and my team and I are passionate about helping individuals who are currently struggling with anxiety, stress and burnout. So how can an anxiety therapist help you? Now, they can help by helping you to identify your triggers. They can help by developing healthy coping strategies. Often we try and put coping strategies in place ourselves, and they're often quite unhelpful, like turning to alcohol or procrastinating or gaming or gambling. And we can practice exposure therapy. Like I said, there's a link in the description, and that's where we build up tiny baby steps to help you get to where you want to be. Now, therapy has helped so many people overcome phone anxiety, and it can help you too. Remember, phone anxiety is real, but it's not permanent. With practice, small steps and the right support, you can overcome it. Now, I want to hear from you, please. What makes phone calls stressful for you? Please do drop a comment below. And if you're looking for one-to-one support, check out the links in the description to learn how anxiety therapy can help you. Now, before you go, don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful, subscribe for more mental health content, share this with someone who you think might need it. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.